Oops.
Okay, here we are. Hello,
Hi.
and welcome to our, what time is, oh, it's 12 o'clock. The bells, there's a
Mhm.
church near my house, and at 12 o'clock, the bells ring, and the bells just started ringing. So,
Nice.
um, welcome to our 12 o'clock noon, 10 to 13 focus. Do you want to introduce yourself to us? Tell us
Yes.
about who you are, lovely lady.
Absolutely. So my name is Angela and I'm from Nepal. For those of you who don't know me, because now we've been doing so many webinars, I think some of us, we actually know each other. And yes, I work at the school in Meravili, and I've been here in Milan for the past almost 5 years. And I love it here. It's really nice. I love it.
You've been here 5 years.
I'm married almost 5 years. Yes. My husband's Italian. So, I mean, what's there not to like about Italy?
Yeah.
Everything is great here.
I like
Yeah. And
Italy too. I
yeah, your partner's Italian. I mean, we
know.
have to.
It helps.
Oh,
Yeah.
the connection is
Someone has
a
written
bit
something. Do you have
terrible.
It is.
Yeah.
Federico Di Fabio. Hello, Federico from Rome. Maybe I'll just, for now, if you want
Uh-huh.
to,
Okay.
can help if we stop.
Let me
And then I'll put,
Okay. Should I stop my cam too?
it can help
Yeah, it
sometimes.
might
Hi,
help.
Federico from Rome. And I
Hi.
will put hold on, let me put up here our lesson.
Mhm.
Oh, this is a good lesson for a Roman to talk about because it
Oh,
has a
yeah.
lot of
Exactly.
history, a whole lot of history.
Absolutely. Maybe we can do
And I
this.
figure, yeah, all right.
Mhm.
Welcome, Federico. Tell us, Federico, are you from Rome or do you just live in Rome? Because your city has, I love Rome, goodness gracious. I would like to live in
Absolutely.
Rome. That's a goal for me. And my partner, he's from Rome. So there's a good chance that that could happen at some point.
Lucky you.
So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. hmm Yeah, great.
um, well, let us get going. Do you want to read today and focus?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the history of a city. We're going to revise passives and look at phrases related to history. Oh, I love
Yeah.
history.
Do you?
Oh, I love history. Yes,
I do too.
absolutely.
I do too.
Federico Di Fabio, he says, I live in Turin.
Do
Now
you?
I'm in Rome with my parents during this period. Oh, that's nice. And we also have
Okay,
Elena
cool.
Battiloro. Hi, everyone. I'm Elena from Palermo, and I'm a student of mine in Milano Meraviglia. Hi, Elena. Glad you're here with
Yes,
us.
I
Great.
well, and so Federico from Rome, but living in Turin. Turin also has a lot of more modern
Mm-hmm.
Italian history,
Mm-hmm.
and Palermo also has a really interesting history. Beautiful places to be.
Yes,
Great, you
absolutely.
guys who are watching. We have some nice things. So not just talking about the simple questions of where we were born, of where we're born. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so feel free, share with us. Love Italy, and we want to learn about where you're from.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yes.
here we have. The, Oops, I clicked too fast. Sorry. Hold on. The internet is a little
Mm-hmm.
there we go.
Yeah,
So
the
do you want to
connection is
read
really
these
bad.
for us, and then
Sure.
we can start chatting?
Yep. Yeah. Uh, Just to let you know, Seth, you're breaking up, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, just, I mean, we can hear you, but it's breaking. All right, so let me start. Okay, answer these questions in pairs. Okay, not in pairs, but now that we are all by ourselves at home. So number one, how fundamental do you think it is to know a city's history? Wow. Number two, when you know a city's history, do you think it changes your perception of it? Why? Number three, do you know how much your city's do you know much about your own city's history? Are you interested in its history? Number four, are you proud of your city's history? Fantastic. Such good questions. I mean, really. So
They
guys,
are.
why
They're
don't
neat.
you write to us and let us know? Yeah, just answer all these questions because I know it takes time to write. So we're going to wait for your answers and comments. And what we're going to do is, meanwhile, Seth and me, we're going to talk about our cities, our hometowns, or our countries. All right. So Seth, anything you want to share with us about your
Sure.
city? Mm-hmm.
Well, so I'm American,
Mm-hmm.
um, and my country, our history is not very, very long, but we
Mm-hmm.
do, of course, have some history, of course.
Uh-huh.
Um, but my town
Mm-hmm.
is not old at all, if we think about Italian history, especially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I think my town is called Berlin Heights. It's very, very
Mm-hmm.
small.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it has like 600 people, very
Mm-hmm.
small.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the interesting thing, though, there is a very quite surprising history to the foundation of this town.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was founded, so I think like in around 1850,
Uh-huh.
and it was founded at a time when there were many religious groups that
Mm-hmm.
were leaving because in my country the big cities are on the east coast like New York, Boston, Philadelphia. These are the historical
Mm-hmm.
cities, and so
Mm-hmm.
people were leaving those cities and moving west in the United States because there were no people. and
Mm-hmm.
uh and so this group, it was like a religious group that
Mm-hmm.
not Christian, just some group that
Mm-hmm.
moved to the name of the town was different when it started, but
Mm-hmm.
they were quite an interesting group, especially for the 1800s, because they
Mm-hmm.
did not believe in marriage and they believed that everyone was your
Mm-hmm.
husband and wife.
Oh,
And
that's
so
interesting.
yeah, and especially for the 1800s, I mean, that's a long time
Yeah.
ago when you think that people were a bit more rigid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so this town, the name of the community was, they were called the Free Lovers. And
Wow.
so all of the men were the husbands of all of the women, and all of the women were wives of all of the men. And
Wow.
so it's
Wow.
like the hippies of the 1800s. And
Exactly.
and so now, I mean, I mean, at this point now, there's no like, there are no
Mm-hmm.
buildings, there's nothing left from that time period. But the original
Mm-hmm.
people, um, that's who they were. So
Okay.
yeah, so quite interesting, surprising history for the United States. But and now though the town is just, it's a very normal.
Mm-hmm.
I live in like my state is called Ohio, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just a very normal little village of Ohio. It's very typical for the Midwest, which is the part of the country I live in.
Mm-hmm.
Small town. Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
Interesting. Very interesting.
yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. So
unexpected story.
yeah, exactly. So meanwhile, we have Yole from Milan. Hi, Yole. Welcome. I remember you from yesterday. So Federico says, okay, his first answer was fundamental. I don't know. You have to be interested in that. Okay, so I guess you mean you have to be interested in the history.
The
Okay.
history. Yeah.
So number two, of course, because you can understand, for example, the attitude of the people about something or why they are so different from you about a topic. Okay, so
Probably.
different perceptions. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, understandable. Elena says, my own city, Palermo, has a lot of history because it has been dominated by different people during the centuries. And I think that thanks to this, Palermo is a very interesting city. Okay, so a lot of
I agree. Yeah.
people had, okay, invaded. Okay, nice, very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. How about,
Yeah.
I know, like, Angela, you've had many homes, but
Yeah.
if you think about, I don't know, one of the places that you
Mhm.
maybe learned a bit more, what do you think about these questions in relation to the places where you live?
Okay, so yes, I was thinking about it because, I have called many places home, many cities home. Uh, for example, Doha, Qatar has absolutely almost no history because it's a very new country, it's a very new city, and things were just being built like, when I went there. But if I talk about Nepal, where I was born, Nepal as a country is also a very old country. But I was born in the capital of Nepal, called the capital city called Kathmandu. And what's interesting is that it's a very, very, very old city. It is in a valley, and we go back to 167 BC, so before Christ. Okay, so we go way back, and as you know, Buddhism actually started in Nepal. The Gautama Buddha was born in Nepal. He was a prince in Nepal. He gave up all his riches to become a monk, and so we are so rich in history and religion, and we are
Yeah.
just that. It is like when you touch down in Nepal, like my friends, the Western friends, my husband, for example, whenever we touch down in Nepal, they feel it. There's a holiness to that place. Yeah, the whole
Cool.
environment is amazing. Seth, I'm going to take you there one day. You
I
know
would
that.
love it. I would love that. I will
Yeah.
take you up on this.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Federico says, I'm interested, but I don't know if I know all the history. Here in Italy, there's a lot of history about every city or monument.
Oh, it's so true.
That is
It's so
so
true.
true. Yeah.
I
Just a
read a
lot.
book recently. My mother gave it to me,
Mhm.
about a book about Rome, and it was written in a very interesting way because
Mhm.
let's say the main character in the
Mhm.
book are the walls of Rome, because the walls that are in
Ah.
Rome are they're still there today, and they were built by the Romans, and
Yeah.
uh, and so it's very interesting because there are like 4 or 5 main sections to this book, and
Mhm.
each section of the book is a different time that the walls were conquered. So
Mm.
that Rome experienced,
Ah.
and each time the Rome was conquered, the city changed a lot because a new group of people came to the city.
Mm. Oh, wow.
And a very interesting book because, like Federico said, is like especially in Rome, the history
Mhm.
is so long, and every building has you could
You
write
can
a
tell a
book about,
story.
and
Exactly.
I found that book very interesting because after I
Mhm.
read it, I went to
Mhm.
Rome
Uh-huh.
with my partner,
Mhm.
and it really changed my understanding of the city because I
Mhm.
saw buildings that I read about, and
Mhm.
made it very interesting to think like, wow, like
Mhm.
even the thing like Mussolini changed the city a lot, and that was
Mhm.
recent, 40s,
Yeah.
um, but Roman, depending on the neighborhood you go to,
Mhm.
you can be walking in buildings that are 50 years old, or you can be walking among buildings that are 1,000 years old, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
really, really interesting.
Yeah, true. So
Elena
Yoli
says
says,
something.
yes, Yoli says something. I've never, okay, wait, hold on. Knowledge about cities, just a minute.
Oh,
Yoli
mhm.
says, knowledge about cities, history is fundamental for enjoying the art made by different artists in the previous
Previous,
centuries.
previous, yeah,
Previous centuries. Okay. Oh, that's true. That's true.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Elena says, I've never been to Nepal, but it seems to be very interesting. I hope to see it soon. Yes, absolutely. It's a very interesting country. I'm sure you won't regret. You're going to learn so much in Nepal.
Um, Angela, how, because like I think
Mhm.
of Nepal as being very small, but
Mhm.
I think this only because it's next to India, and India is very, very big. But like Nepal is not very, very small, is it? I mean, it's probably
Okay, it's not as small as Bhutan, okay, because there are tiny little countries around that area.
yeah,
And it's not as tiny as Bhutan, but yes, in comparison to other countries in the world, it is quite a small country. And we are landlocked, okay, so
yeah,
means that we do not, for the students, means that we do not have any coastlines. Okay, so like Switzerland, they don't have beaches. In Nepal, we don't have beaches, unfortunately, and we are landlocked. It's quite small, not as tiny as Bhutan. The Bhutan is another country over there, but yes, it's comparatively quite small, Seth, because
okay,
also, yeah, we're sandwiched between those two big
yeah,
nations like China and India. So
yeah.
it's a little, yeah,
When you look on a map, it looks so small because
yeah,
the countries around it are enormous. But
exactly.
like it's small. Is it smaller than Italy? Do you think?
Yes, it's smaller than Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's smaller than Italy. But in Italy, you have good rolling hills, and so the terrain is also important, because in
Hmm.
Nepal, you have the rugged mountainous areas where people can't live. So the population is more like, it's not. It is scattered. However, there are clusters, like in the big cities like Kathmandu, and
Sure.
we have another one called like maybe Chitwan, or things like that, Pokhara.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are clusters, and then yeah, very very sparse population in other places.
Right.
So to continue, Anna says, hi, I'm Anna Chiara from Palermo. Hello, again from Palermo. Nice. I'm very interested in my city's history. I know much more about my city thanks to some organized tours like Levi di Tesori. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it is.
Hmm.
And then Yola says one should be maybe better to say one should prepare before, or one
Mhm,
should read about a city
mhm.
when one is going to visit in order to understand in a deep and accurate way the monuments, the style of buildings, the museums. I agree. I agree
Yeah,
that it's
it's always.
always can be more interesting.
Mhm,
Do some study first.
mhm,
Cool. Let's keep going. This is just kind of an interesting thing. So we're
mhm,
looking at this word history and some
mhm,
phrases that use history, they're pretty common phrases in English.
mhm,
So at home again, if you guys want to have any questions about these, or if you want to try and write to us what you think they may be,
mhm,
what they mean.
mhm.
So
Yes.
the expression to make history. I think here's
Mhm,
yeah an example. Guy
mhm,
Fawkes made history with his plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament in London. Make
mhm,
history.
mhm,
To go down in history,
mhm,
a little phrasal verb expression. Fawkes
mhm,
went down in history as London's most notorious terrorist. And
mhm,
then the last is earn a place in history. Michael Phelps
mhm,
earned a place in history by becoming the
mhm,
most successful Olympian of all time. He won his
mhm.
22nd Olympic medal at London Olympics in 2012. So,
Yeah.
um,
So made history, went
if you
down in
think of,
history. Yeah, these are the words that we're
yeah,
going to
are
look
there
at.
things in your country again? Like, could you make some examples with those expressions, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe famous Nepalese?
Uh-huh. So I don't know. I really don't know too much about. Well, we have these local, let's say, very popular people in history. Okay, so maybe we can talk about Gautama Buddha, who made history
Hmm.
by spreading Buddhism, by
Yeah,
initiating
sure.
the religion or the way of life of the philosophy. So
Hmm.
we can talk about that. Uh, if I talk about somebody who's making history at the moment, a Nepalese singer, he's in the top 10 contestants in the American Idol 2020.
Nice.
So I think he's making history there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that could be another example. And well, let me look at what Iole said. In Milan, there is a similar initiative to visit particular monuments and private houses as well. Ah, I see. So he's talking about what Anna said earlier.
Yeah,
Okay, some organized tours. Okay, that's nice. Maybe we should go
yeah.
for one of them, Seth. What do you say?
I think that when things get done, when we're allowed to finally go outside, I'm gonna want to do a lot of these things.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
goodness.
So tell us about yours, because the US is such a big country, and there are so many amazing people who've actually made history,
I
who've
would
gone
say,
down.
yeah, in recent history, the United States has been an important country in world history.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so made history. I would say, if we think of, well, the first thing I thought of was someone who made history, an American. I thought of Armstrong landing
Uh-huh.
on the moon. He
Yep.
made history for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So to make history just basically means to do something
Mm-hmm.
that becomes history, that becomes important enough to continue talking about.
Exactly. Okay.
If we go down in history, we're usually talking about like the memory of that person,
Yeah.
like what we think of that. So it could be, in this case, they're talking about Guy Fawkes, and so he went down in history in a bad way, but
Yeah.
you don't
Mm-hmm.
always.
Not always in a bad
I
way.
have a feeling like Donald Trump will go down in history as maybe. I'll use it. I'll be more positive with my example.
Okay.
Barack Obama will
Mm-hmm.
go down in history as the first black president there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Good.
there's no
Nice.
political thing there. It's just
No.
a fact that he was the first black president. So, so to go down in history is sort of talking about the memory or the impact that a
Mm-hmm.
particular person or event.
Mm-hmm.
The coronavirus will go down in history as the first time, hopefully the first and only time,
Yeah.
when the entire world had to go into quarantine.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's yeah. That's a
Ugh,
very bad part of history.
yeah,
It's going to
it's
be looked.
so strange, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So guys, tell us about your country. Tell us about Italy, or maybe, if you want to go into like talking about Palermo, or
Yeah, a famous person
yeah,
who
or
made
a famous
history in your
person.
city, or
Yeah, nice.
uh, yeah,
Federico.
Federico Preferences. Yeah,
This period of content will go down in history. Yep.
yeah, and good use of the phrase perfect
Fantastic.
grammar.
Very good. Very nice.
Um,
Mm.
like the person, if someone develops the what's it called, like the vaccination for coronavirus, they will certainly earn their place in
In history.
history.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Like, for example, Michael Phelps. Oh, yeah. We're okay. We finished that. Let's go on to the next.
Well, I think it's continuing a little bit
True.
more.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
maybe help you with some ideas. So in your thinking of your own city or country or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
are there any landmarks, well-known products, artists, people, events.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't. And where I live specifically, we have an amusement park
Mm-hmm.
um, that's very very famous in the United States. That
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would use these phrases with. Well, actually, no. This park has made history
Mm-hmm.
several times because it has lots and lots of roller coasters, but
Hmm.
these roller coasters are some of the highest and fastest in the whole world.
Oh
Um,
Lord.
and and for people who like roller coasters, people from all over the world will travel to my part of Ohio to go on the. I love them. I think they're really fun because I grew up there. So for me, they're not scary because I grew up doing these things. They're very, very, very high. Like some of them are like 100. No, how tall would they be? Meters. Maybe like 100 and 110 meters tall, 130, 40 meters tall, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, and they go like and they go. The fastest one goes 100 miles per hour, which I think is probably like something like 200 kilometers per
Oh
hour.
Jesus Christ.
So they're
That's
very,
fast.
very, very, very high and very, very fast, and I think they're very, very fun.
Now,
um,
I don't like roller coasters, so I think I won't be going there. I'm scared. I can't even go on those little merry-go-rounds, because
yeah,
I get dizzy. So forget
last
about
year
roller
for
coasters.
yeah, last year for my birthday, my friends took me to Gardaland here in Italy,
Oh,
and it
nice.
has many roller coasters as well.
Hmm.
But some of my friends were a little afraid to go on them, and for me, they were nothing. They were I was having a great time. It was very very fun. But some of my friends were like, "No, it's too high. It's too fast," and I was saying, "No, this is nothing compared to the things near my hometown."
That's funny.
Um,
Hmm. Well known.
my the near well-known products in my town specifically, or even in my area, I don't think of anything. But um, kind of in some cities nearby, there's a city that's quite famous for making glass, but
Hmm.
like cups and glass things like for, but very beautiful. It's very beautiful, but
Hmm.
low, not like world famous, but just in the
Uh-huh.
region where it's quite well known.
Okay.
Um,
Not like the Murano glass here in Italy.
No, I mean regionally, and even the things that they use, it's not like the Murano glass is all like hand, it's very
Hmm.
handmade, and
Yeah,
these are
artisan.
factory made, but the
Hmm.
quality is very good, and
Hmm.
it is beautiful glass,
Okay.
but
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
not super famous.
Okay.
Um, we have a renowned person from a city very close to mine. There's a
Hmm.
woman who was Miss America in the 1970s,
Hmm.
who was from a town nearby. Miss America is
Hmm.
kind of American tradition. I don't know if people know what that is or not.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Uh-huh.
so we have a
Ah.
lady who was Miss America, and she's still very in the area. She's an older woman now,
Hmm.
uh, but she is still very active in like not politics, but she's a voice for you know
Hmm.
volunteering, being, she's a very good person. Um,
Mm.
and I'm sure that all came from her experience as Miss America when, she's
Hmm.
very involved with like civics, and, building parks, making sure
Hmm.
equality among people, she's a good person. She's a very good person.
Oh, that's nice.
And I can't think of her name right now, but she's kind of famous where I live. So,
Okay.
oh, some comments we can look at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yoli says the Scala in Milan has been earning an important place in history for lyric concerts taking place in the last years. Okay.
I would say even not just recently, but I studied music at university, and the Scala for
Uh-huh.
opera is one of the principal
The
theaters
most
of the world. Yeah.
exactly. Oh, yeah,
So,
very
but yeah, so
interesting.
the Scala for sure, very important.
Hmm. Falcone, Elena says, Falcone and Borsellino were two judges from Palermo who were killed because of the pursuit of organized crime called the mafia, and they made a part of history for their courage. Oh, so they earned their place in history for the courage that they showed in fighting the mafia. Fantastic. Rome earned a place in history, especially for its construction methods that have influenced many cities in the world. Yes, very good.
I wanted to go back and look just to for Elena, your sentence really, really nice, but I think maybe here where you say who were killed, not because of pursuit, but I think you would say they were killed for pursuing organized crime.
Exactly, yeah.
A really nice sentence, Elena. Just
Yeah,
there a little
yeah.
bit of, but that's a difficult sentence. So really good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
And likewise, maybe if we look one more time, I'm going to look at Federico just before we look. Watch Federico. We don't need genitive s here.
Yeah.
Okay. Rome earned a place in history, especially for its, because remember in English, his and her is for people, and so Rome is an it for its construction methods. Okay.
If you have to give Rome a gender, usually a place is a she, like Mother Nature. Like Rome could be a she, but never a he.
In English, it's true. So things like cities,
excuse me,
boats, like big ships are some, like the Titanic is sometimes very, very big boats are referred to as she. I don't know why, but it doesn't have to do with gender like in Italian. But
yeah, could be because of the mothership,
I think so. I think it's this idea. Yeah.
This is why. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Milan is very important for fashion and furniture styles. Yeah, for design, for fashion and design, for sure.
Oh yes, Milan is the best.
Beautiful place, yeah. I think the Salone del Mobile was wasn't it? Because I think it's usually now.
It's here. Oh, but I think it's been postponed.
I'm sure. Yeah. Everything, right?
Yeah, like all on my street and everything. It used to be so good.
I know, and now it's all gone. I'm gonna jump. We're not gonna read all of this. They're so long.
Yeah.
But what we want to just look at for a moment, because there's a little bit in this lesson about passives. So I'm just gonna show our passives so that we can just right. So passive voice, Safer was founded as we participle. So we can see a few examples of our. And if you guys remember at home, the reason we use this is because, like in this story, for example, they're talking about St. Petersburg, and by using the past Petersburg, the subject, because it's what we're talking about, it's the most important thing. So founded. We could say Tsar Peter, Petersburg, but our story is about St. Petersburg. So the passive voice sounds nicer. Maybe if we're about Peter, we might say Tsar Peter founded St. Petersburg because we're putting the focus on the Tsar. All of these, the city was built because, again, the city is what this particular article is about. It functions the same way in Italian, basically. So
yeah, the Tsar is not the subject; the city is the subject. So we're gonna.
Yeah.
Right.
I've never been to Russia. I've heard St. Petersburg's really beautiful.
Unfortunately, I haven't
been there.
No, I haven't been to St. Petersburg. I've only been to Moscow, and I've been to the square, the Red Square, and it was amazing. It was unbelievably beautiful.
Is it Really big?
It's really big. Yep.
Wow.
It's really big and colorful. And I was lucky because I went there um, just a few days after Christmas. So they still had their lights. So
Oh,
it
nice.
was
Wow.
it was freezing, but it was beautiful.
I would like to go to Russia, but it's a little difficult just because of for not different, but for America, the United States and Russia don't have the best political relationship, and it's the process to go to Russia for an American, we have to get special visas and things. It's um,
Complicated.
a little complicated. So yeah,
Yeah. But yeah,
uh,
I would love to go visit St. Petersburg. Yeah.
yeah, looks like it's a beautiful city.
Yep. Yep.
Here again, just a few more sentences, right, with passive. And often when and this fits in really well with our topic today of the is we're often going to say things like, and if let me look back through our examples from our students, because I think you guys have naturally been using a lot of these
Yeah.
because it's pretty normal for us to speak this way. Palermo has a lot of history because it has been dominated. So Elena wrote, I'll put
Yep.
up a comment from before. Palermo has been dominated. Very nice. Beautiful passive, Elena. Thank you, thank you.
Exactly.
Everything else you guys write that you have written is not wrong. It's not wrong to use active voice, but I'm just looking for some of these.
Passives.
Yeah, and actually everything else I see is mostly in the active, which is just fine. But
Yeah.
I'm looking, but anyway. Oh, there's another one. The Scala has been earning, present perfect passive, beautiful, has been earning an important place in history. Nice. Even in this one about Falcone and Borsellino, they were killed. Nice job, you guys. Really, really great. Like Federico wrote, Rome earned a place in history, which is just fine. Really fine,
Yeah.
active voice. But
Very nice.
good job, you guys.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit of practice. This is a nice thing to do. So, do you want to read first?
Yes,
Just
let's
maybe
go.
read everything, and then
Yes, yes.
you guys at home
Absolutely.
can start finishing the sentences.
Yeah, just fill in the blanks, okay? All right, so to talk about histories, we often use passives, but the verbs in red, put the verbs in red into sentences and decide which kind of passive it should be, okay? So after England blank by the Normans in 1066, the Doomsday Book dash by William the Conqueror, okay? Number 2, the Duomo blank in 1296, but it blank in 1436 only once the dome blank by Filippo Brunelleschi. Oh my God, I can never pronounce these names.
I know my. I think in Italian, don't they say Brunelleschi? But in America, in English, we say Brunelleschi. Sorry, Italians. But Angela had a wonderfully the perfect English pronunciation, and every English speaker is going to say Brunelleschi. So
Yeah, oh
sorry,
Lord.
Italy.
Yeah, after all these years, you'd think that I should be speaking fluent Italian. Oh Lord, it's a very difficult
It's hard
language.
though. Yeah. All right, so this is they were famous in history. The first one, the Norman invasion of 1060. All right. Let's see here. I'm waiting for our people to answer, but no. Thank you, Elena.
Okay,
We got our
Elena.
first one. If you want to share her answers, then I'll reveal them
Okay,
here.
yeah. So
Elena
England was invaded. Okay,
and so here they have had been
invaded
probably
by the Normans. Remember?
Mhm.
Because two actions
Yeah, exactly. Actions.
had been invaded by the Normans. The Doomsday Book, so Yole also was invaded, but okay.
Mhm.
So England had been invaded by the Normans in 1066 or 1066, doesn't matter. The Doomsday Book, blank, by William the Conqueror.
And then,
Was
okay, Federico
completed.
wrote was, yeah.
Mhm.
You guys, this mentioned, again, the completed, well, I don't know what the Doomsday Book is, so I was also thinking was
Uh-huh.
completed, because
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
know
I
what
thought it
this
was
is.
completed.
So, in terms of your Federico, the grammar is correct.
Correct. Yeah.
But maybe in terms of the actual history, it was commissioned. I
Mhm.
would also say, like, Angela, for you,
Mhm.
so everyone, our student hero after England was invaded. To me, because, like you said, there are two events, and so probably
Mhm.
the best answer is had been invaded.
Mhm.
But to
Mhm.
me, if someone were to say after England was invaded, for me, it's not
Yeah,
going
it
to
would
make
be
any
correct.
difference.
Yeah, exactly. It would be correct for me too. Yeah.
If we're getting very particular about grammar, we should be using had been invaded. But
Yeah.
when we're speaking normally, even to say had been invaded, it takes more work, and so we're probably just going to say was.
Yeah. Hi, Sylvia. Sylvia's
Hi,
just joined
Sylvia.
us. All
Okay, and
right.
then the
So
next one.
number 2. Mhm. The Duomo
So this
was
is the Duomo
completed
of
according
Firenze.
to Yole.
Huh?
The Duomo was completed in 1296, according to him. Elena says the Duomo was began. Okay. And Yole says the Duomo had been commissioned. Oops. Okay.
So for this one, we have to look at what the sentences are saying, because we have this but,
Mm.
and the but is
Yeah.
about the dome. So I don't think we can say it was finished because something else happened.
Yeah.
So to me, so far, the best answer, I'm going to go with Elena. Say it was begun in 1296, but the dome was finished later, right?
Yeah,
So,
but
it needed, right? Do you think completed?
yeah, probably
Yeah,
was completed in 1436. Only once the dome
had been completed or
had been engineered, because we haven't used that
had been
word.
engineered. There it is.
Yeah,
Had been engineered by
by
Filippo Brunelleschi.
Brunelleschi. All right. So, okay, good. Great.
So that one's a little complicated because we have to consider all of the events happening.
But good job. Yeah, at least they tried.
Yeah, yeah. Have you been? You've been inside the Duomo in Florence? I've never been in it. I've been
No,
outside of it,
uh-huh.
but I've never been in it.
No, yeah, I've been outside just like you. And I remember when I went there was such a long line that I decided to just, give up and go away.
Yeah, same for me. I think in Florence is usually the problem that there's so many tourists, but anyways, let us keep going.
Yeah.
So we for a moment and see what else we have. Maybe we'll come back. Yeah, we already have talked about our own cities quite a bit. So we have one more little activity we can do. Again, you guys at home, if you want to begin, because we just have like 5 minutes. So if you guys want to begin typing the answers. And
I'll quickly read it for you guys.
again,
but meanwhile, you can answer.
Yeah.
So to talk about histories, we often use passives. Okay, put the verbs in red into the sentences and decide which kind of passive it should be. Number 3, the Eiffel Tower blank on the Champ de Mars in Paris and blank in 1886. While it blank, it surpassed the Washington Monument and became the tallest man-made monument in the world. It held this title for the next 41 years until the Chrysler Building dash in New York. Number 4, Tower Bridge has become an iconic symbol for London. It blank in 1894 after Sir Horace Jones' design.
Okay.
Okay, blank.
All right. So the Eiffel Tower, and what do we have? Finish, approve, erect, construct, locate, build. Here there might be more than one that can make sense.
Exactly.
Because some of these
thought
words are very similar.
Very similar, yeah.
But
so the Eiffel
so
Tower.
let's see.
Anyone
Was built, maybe? Do you think was built or was constructed?
Yeah.
Was erected? It could be all of them.
It could be any of them, yeah.
Or even the is located in the present because it's still there. Could be all of them. Let's see what they've got. Is located on the Champ de Mars in Paris. And
was erected. Okay, or located, yeah. So several answers, you know, it could have several correct answers.
Yeah, yeah. And then erected, okay. And here, even erected is the same as construct or build. They're all the same. So, okay. While it surpassed the Washington Monument and became the tallest man-made monument in the world. While it okay. So because we have while, we have to think of so at the same time as the construction. Yeah. While it was so simultaneous actions. Do you know what it is, Angela?
While it was.
Do you want to say it? Let's do it.
Yeah. While it was being constructed, it surpassed the Washington Monument and became. And became the tallest man-made monument in the world. It held this title for the next 41 years until the Chrysler Building blank in New York.
I love the Chrysler Building. It's one of my favorite buildings in New York. I think it's beautiful.
You know,
it's a beautiful building.
We used to stay next door to the Chrysler Towers when I used to go to New York. The hotel was Radisson. Our company, you know, where I was working for would, you know, put us up in that hotel. So it was just the best.
The beautiful. Yeah. It looks like sparkles, you know.
Exactly. It literally sparkles.
Ooh, Sylvia, you're close. Was passive voice until so not we don't need finishing, we need past participle until the Chrysler Building was finished or was was built or
was built in New York. Now the tallest building in the world is in Dubai, isn't it?
And it will probably be the tallest for a long time.
Yeah, Burj Al Khalifa.
All right, and our last two we can do quickly. So Tower Bridge has become an iconic symbol for London. I think we're going to filter it was constructed or maybe this is finished. It was, it was finished in 1894 after Sir Horace Jones's design was approved. There we go. Had been approved. It doesn't make a big difference in this case if we use the past perfect passive or the past simple passive.
Yeah.
All right.
It doesn't really.
Well, cool.
Okay. All right. So we're running short of time, and and it's a wrap. We need.
Well, thank you guys for, you were quite active, all of you. So thank you for helping us with
What are you?
some of our
All right,
activities. Thank
guys,
you for your stories.
participating. Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah, with the connectivity.
time for lunch. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye,
So thank you,
guys.
and we will see you next time. And have
See
a
you.
good
Bye,
day. Bye
guys.
bye.